There's no rules!
Shoot a lower score!
There's one rule!
Welcome back. Inside the new Learning Center here at Franklin Bridge.
Let's go!
It's the No Mulligans podcast. Scott and Jack here, and this is our first sit-down episode in a quick second. We've actually done a lot more stuff on YouTube and TikTok lately, which has been really fun.
It is. It's I have a love-hate relationship with it. It's definitely really addictive. Don't sit on it, that's for sure. Yeah, there's this. Ooh, now I can hear myself. This is great. I think there's this real sense in which, like, I hate marketing and I hate advertising, I hate branding. But as we were, I just wish people could see our text thread that we had, like with you, me, and Sam and Zach, of like really understanding, like, well, Scott, you want to help as many people as you can. You kind of have to go through this like muck and mire to like get to the people.
Yeah.
Like there's just this grossness about social that's just...
Oh, yeah. Like, or just people who don't... I think the hard thing about social media is just people don't understand the full context that you're talking in.
And they don't want to.
And there's a lot of people, too, like for our... Dude, this video did really well on social media. It was the long iron secrets.
Yeah.
And you were like, I just don't spend too much time warming up on my long irons. Like, that's just the fact of the matter.
But they hear it as something totally
and they
different.
hear it as your long irons aren't important. And it's like, no, man, it's just it doesn't... You don't need to hit those close all the time.
Right. And I'm warming up.
Right.
It's like...
You're not going to be able to stick a Stinger 5 iron on your, first
I don't
20 balls
care
of the day,
about that. Like, I'm not going to hit a lot of those. And, if you don't play a whole lot, why would I run plays that I'm not any good at running?
It's true.
So, but I don't know. Where are we starting?
Well, it just feels good being in here, man. Like, we've talked about it for so long. Like, hey, we're about to be in the new Learning Center, and we're in there just sitting on the club repair table, and now we're sitting here in our rolly chairs on this huge bay and all the TrackMan stuff behind us, which is a good shout out for people to go and get us on YouTube.
Yeah,
go over
check
and
us out.
watch this episode on YouTube, No Mulligans Podcast.
Yeah, you can kind of take it. Oh, podcast guy. Sorry.
Shout out Koji.
I had to slide that one in there. No, you're right. They were starting on Thursday of last week, so a week ago.
Yeah.
And the crew was here. It was Wednesday afternoon. I'm in the pub, and I'm sitting there just kind of going over things, and Erica comes in, and she's like, looks at me like, you okay? You look like you're crying. I'm like, I'm not crying. I'm just, I was like, I'm really happy and like also scared, and also, there's such a flood of emotion that I didn't know what to deal with, and so proud of my team and so thankful to have the team that we have here. Like the loyalty that's here with this team. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we have the same people here for the next almost 10 years or more, just because we've got such a collaborative closeness about us.
Yeah.
That is such a shared vision that is truly something special to be where we're at right now. So,
yeah. Even just thinking about where we've done, I mean, we joke all the time about how many places we've done podcasts on property. And it's just because FBPI just like hasn't had a home,
Right.
ever since we started this thing.
Gosh, ain't that the truth, man? It's felt like we were like nomads. It felt like we were in a zoo for the longest time, sitting in the tour shop,
Yeah.
Like people walking by and knocking on the glass, like, yeah, don't knock on the glass with the monkeys in it. Of course they don't like it. I don't like it. Like, me. I'm about my business. Leave me alone. So no, it's 1,600 square feet, dual TrackMan, dual camera. We're going to look a little bit of it on this podcast, so this would be a good one for y'all to go watch, and you can come up and heckle Jack about
my swing,
his swing and his feels.
We're trying to get right.
So 2 bays. We got 4 putting cups. We'll have GC quad for putting.
Yeah.
Our own office. There's still not enough room. I'll tell you that when we already had this thing filled out. You came in yesterday.
Yeah.
And you're like, what happened in here?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Elijah's got a guy that's super loud and giving a first time lesson to. Erica's got a junior over there on TrackMan playing some
the games.
Playing some game that she's having fun and she's brand new. You got that that girl's dad sitting in the back just watching. He's in a distance, staying out of the way. And you got a girl in here
doing a putting fitting.
Doing a putter fitting.
Yeah.
Zach's putting the new shafts on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm just back there watching it all, just surveying the land, I guess. And it's just like, what?
It's got to be surreal for you, though, to just watch your team go to work in the new space with all the new stuff.
And, there's a part of me that feels bad asking them to do a lot of things, but I can't do all that. I got other things I got to do for us to keep, moving this ship forward. I've used the phrase, I feel like I've been in a daze for days. I just don't, if you ask me what I think about it, I'm just going to do what I'm doing now, which is just like ramble. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's exciting, and a little bit terrifying all at the same time.
No, it's fair.
So,
I think the best opportunities are the ones where you feel a little scared going into them as well.
Yeah, and definitely, we are definitely there. That's for sure. So
it's going to be surreal too when we get to roll these impact screens up and actually like hit out onto the range with all the tech too.
Dude, it's been super cool. I've done that in a bunch of lessons the last few days of just like work on motion, and then like, hey, you want to see real ball flight? And we go out there like, oh yeah, it looks like it does on the actual screen. Yeah, TrackMan's not lying to you, man.
I hope it does.
Yeah. So no, it's been absolutely incredible just to get started, and I also don't like the undone. Like, there's a part of me that like wants to have waited till everything's already in here, but part of figuring out how we want everything to be in here is actually being in here.
Yeah.
So you know. What do I want to talk about? What are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk a little bit about at least my swing.
Oh, you can't handle the truth. Yeah.
Some basics and just kind of breaking it down.
Right. Well, and so one of the things is like people want to get in here like, oh, I want to see my swing on track.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Well, let me just caveat that. Yes, you do,
yes,
but no,
you
you don't.
Right. It's, you can't hide. Well, I felt like, I was like, there's no feel, like every single swing is automatically recorded.
Yeah.
Just like bang, 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 bang. And it's directly attached to TrackMan data.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do on that one, the same thing you did on the last one. Really? You sure? Would you like to see?
Yeah.
Really? It doesn't feel like that. And so I was recently on the Franklin Bridge podcast that Blake's been doing. And, we talked about, like, I have this love-hate relationship with technology. I really do. Like, I hate this and I love it.
Yeah.
And the challenge with it is there's so much information. Mm. And if you don't know what you're doing with it, it's kind of worthless, or maybe not worthless, but you're missing what it can really do.
And correct me if I'm wrong too, but just put it into perspective for people listening. If you don't know what specific thing you're working on, you don't know how to apply that data to your swing. So for example, like for my swing that we're about to go through, we were focusing on two numbers, like face angle and then path as well, right?
And mostly face angle.
But like we don't need to be looking at spin numbers when we're working on that, right? And so that's where I feel like there's a lot of people who just want to get on a TrackMan just to see all the numbers, just to see them light up on the screen.
Well, and then on top of it, we've got dual camera, which we'll pull up here in a little bit, but is like, there's so many things to look at.
Yeah.
Right? Like, well, what piece do you fix? And the screens are huge. They're 60-inch TVs or 50-inch TVs.
We have 4 TVs on the wall. Zach, if you want to, you can pan this camera, and we'll get Sam to cut it here.
Yeah. So Zach's moving his
like the 920 mark, 929 mark here, Sam, just for some editing. But like you can see, we've got these 4 screens here just on the wall.
Yeah, 2 monitors for the instructor primarily. Mm-hmm. And so like he can turn those where the instructor can sit and maneuver all the those back computers, and then take these forward monitors, giant TVs, and turn them towards a student when they're hitting outside, or move it in closer to them. Like, I can pull that TV like almost to the place where I can touch it right now. Like I can pull it way out here.
And then too, Sam, while we're at it too, you can just show that these cameras Sam.
It looks like a mess right now. Sorry.
It does look like a mess, but like we've got these cameras on tripods too, so you can perfectly position them whether you're hitting on the outside or if you're hitting here on the inside, and they all get wired directly into the ground. which is really, really nice for as far as just, portability.
Yeah, and so like when we want to go outside, one of the things that I think is really cool and is so this screen, Zach, you can probably do this, and don't roll it all the way up, but he's gonna try to get it going where we don't lose the camera. Where with a touch of a button, the screen will go up, and
so behind us, it's happening. Oh,
right,
well, turn it off. Oh well. I think we switched the
Okay, so he put that on. I just want you to scroll it up. Yeah.
Roll up the whole screen there. Yeah.
So he can put whatever he wants on that screen behind me.
Right now it's my golf.
And so that screen's super tight, pulled across. What you're seeing is the insulated backside of the garage door, and so you can feel the breeze, the little bit of coldness.
Yeah. Feels good on the back.
So, but is very quickly he can roll it up. And we'll be ready to roll in a heartbeat. And so we have underneath us right now where Jack's at, we have additional wires for TrackMan and the cameras.
Yeah,
and so
plates,
literally
plates here.
We're talking less than 3 minutes time. Roll the screen up, move TrackMan up, move the cameras up, move that camera over, and we are literally rolling from the front. If I want to pull it back down, move that, roll all the way to the back, and we are rocking. I can put anything on any screen that I want.
And not only that, but just talking about Elijah's role as well, doing a lot of club fittings in here as well. We got all the clubs, all the club shafts on the back wall here, a lot of club heads on the back wall as well. Yeah, I mean, Zach's going to take you on a tour here.
Yeah, and so that entire wall above where Zach's about to show you, up above, all of that, we will literally have, let's see if I can remember all the companies. Zach will help me. So it's a 12-foot high wall. We'll also have shafts over here behind us. We have a whiteboard. Love the whiteboard. Elijah and I love a whiteboard. So you can see Elijah's already been putting stuff on his whiteboard.
I was watching him actually use it the other day.
Yeah, so we'll have 4 bags right there, and then all of that will be shafts. All of this will probably end up being shafts. So we'll have Titleist, TaylorMade, Ping, Strixon Cleveland, Cobra, Callaway. I got them all. Let's go. I got them. So irons, drivers, fairways, hybrids, putters across the board. So all the putters will stay in the putting lab. So you can come in and get fit for that. We have the GC Quad for putter fitting. So that's what's becoming very popular on the tour right now.
So this is just like a little snapshot here before we get into, I think it's important to preface with all the things that we have here because we're about to get into the snapshot of my golf swing. But now we're kind of getting into the meat and potatoes of this whole podcast, which is we've got all this tech. We've got the facility where we can literally dial you to whatever you want. Now, how do we apply it? And that's, I think, where the FBPI team comes into play, right? Because you've got you've got Zach, you've got Braden, you've got Elijah, you've got Erica. Like, everybody here is going to know exactly what to look at in your golf journey in order to get you dialed to where you want to be.
Right.
That's what we're kind of going to be talking about today with me as an example.
Yeah, and do we have the video behind us? I can't really see.
Yeah, we might need to angle that camera up so that we can get it all in one shot here.
Can we get it in there? It'd be sweet.
Honestly, Zach, let's point it at the TV. That's going to be a much clearer picture, and then Sam can cut back and forth. Appreciate you, Sam.
Yeah, so you've got that. For me, it's all about looking for patterns, right? And the lens through which you look will influence the patterns you're looking for. So, per our last podcast where we talked about with Sam, like, hey, man, Jack, you can start anywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are some preferred routes, and I can show you if we change this, it changes a bunch of things. So, like, there's this weird balance of, like, this is the way you should do it. And also, like, you can do it any way that you want.
Yep.
I just think there are faster and easier ways to doing things. Hey, Sam did pretty well for me in here. He was in here Monday night.
No, when we had
he hit it pretty good.
Yeah, and we also that's Monday too, but we also did that. It doesn't feel like that long ago where we just released our video first lesson with cameraman Sam.
Yep.
Taking a 15 handicap to scratch. Amateur chooses where to start. You can look that on YouTube. But we did that and like right here, and it was still plywood and concrete.
Right. Yeah. Oh, gosh.
It's crazy.
Dude, so loud and clanky, and it's hard to believe that it looks like this now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't feel real. It still doesn't feel real. But so looking at Jack's golf swing, we're looking for patterns of behavior. And let's see, Zach, can you move the top monitor there that you have, the small one? Can you move that to where Jack is, where the big screen is, where you have it pointed right now? Just want to look at some numbers. Yeah, move that screen down to where the camera's sitting right now. So as we look at those, so I'm just going to kind of give you like how I look at things a little bit, try and give you behind the scenes look of what it's like to be an instructor and what we look for. So obviously personality, all that, like got a good relationship with you. Good athletes tend to push back. So you're like, you've already got a notion in your head of like this thing you're holding on to. Like, remember when we did that with Sam? You're like, he's like, yeah, but like I've been trying to not do that for a while, right? So it's like, ooh, oops, I accidentally stepped on something maybe I shouldn't.
Sure.
So if we look at this pattern, so go down, we're up at, shot 75, whatever right now. So go to like 60.
Or maybe
Oh, this is when we were doing some stuff with the hands. Go further down. Go to like
let's go to a
20 something or
somewhat stock number.
yeah. Okay, so this is better with the club face. This is when y'all are toying with the club face a little bit and where the mouse was on the screen. So that's it pretty straight. It's good, right? 166 carry, hitting what, 8 iron?
Yeah, just a stock 8.
Yeah, so we're 166. Club path is -1. Face to path is positive 0.1, which if you're going to play a baby cut, that's kind of it. Also looking at contact on the face. We've spent a lot of time talking about, control your strike, control your speed. So I tend to look at strike a lot, which is why that top one is like all strike pretty much all the time right now for us.
Yeah.
But it's like, if we're all over the face, then I don't really care where the face to path and where the club path is.
And why are we like this? This makes total sense to me, but for the listener out there, like, why are we talking about this right now? Like, what goes to you pointing out those specific numbers to try and help us figure out what's going on?
Well, I think it's people don't know what's happening. Like, they think they know what's happening in their golf swing. They don't have a flying flip of a clue. Even when they say, I'm working on this, like, is that what you need? Do you actually understand what that makes the golf ball do? Where does it make the ball get hit off the face? Why it makes it get hit there? They just don't understand.
Right.
And, it's, and the better you get as a teacher, the more depth you can provide. But it's, okay, we're going to change that. Well, shoot, okay, those 3 numbers got better, but those 7 got worse.
Sure.
What do I do now? It was 2 guys in the pub on the sim in there, which doesn't have all this stuff, but is like not at this level anyway. And you hear them trying to talk about these numbers. It's like you stuck 2 guys in the woods somewhere and random. Like, I think we should go this way. I think we should go that way. That kind of makes sense. It kind of looks like we could go. Like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And this idea of like what a steep swing actually is, and what it isn't. So I think the importance and part I'm trying to get across is we try to serve as a guide. I don't know everything about everything. There's too many things to know.
Yeah.
But I know a lot, and I'm a problem solver, so I'm going to put pieces together, and I'm going to eventually get to the solution, and try to get there faster. And the other thing is, one of the things you're trying to do when you're learning anything is you're trying to do what I call, and what you sometimes hear termed, closing the feedback loop. So, like, if I've got information, but it takes a while to acquire the information, that feedback loop is really long. Like, if I take a swing video of you on my iPad and I don't show it to you for 5 swings, and then I show it to you and you've made 5 additional swings already, well, that feedback loop is really wide open, and it doesn't close.
Is less valuable.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to close those feedback loops as quickly as possible. And we've enjoyed not even opening the doors here, because this is how you should train, but we still want to see real ball flight, so we pull the screens up. So you want that feedback loop to be closed really quick, and you want it to be clean. Like, you can close a feedback loop and it'd be dead wrong.
And is this like what we talk about as well with you putting the hands on the player as well? That's almost an immediate feedback loop.
Right. So yeah, hands on there, right, wrong, right. So that works all the time.
Yeah.
There's not a situation where that doesn't work.
So essentially with these numbers now, we're trying to take the numbers that make the most sense for what we're working on and have those be the tightest feedback loop possible.
Right. And we're using the numbers to tell us what to work on.
Sure.
Right. And because the numbers tell us what the ball is doing. And so you figure out what we want to fix in here. And so you've had too much of a cut, right?
Yeah.
Too much of a fade, struggled closing the face. And you're trying to close it. And there's certain ways I don't like how you're trying to close it. And, you know, Zach got you close with the feel. It's like, yeah, that's a important component, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's, you know, okay, my weight's more forward, and that's going to produce more of a cut. So I'm going to try to keep my head back. Like, yeah, but that's still like putting a Band-Aid on an open wound.
Sure.
Like,
that's what it's felt like too. Just if you're talking to me as a player, that's how that's felt. Is like putting a Band-Aid on a giant thing that needs stitches.
Well, and out there on the golf course when we did that whole deal, you know, I'm really good, and I'm just trying to get you to turn it over, but even I'm missing pieces, in part because we're shooting a pod and we're trying to, you know, do some different stuff, but is figuring it out in here, then trying to immediately take it out there. You don't want to get stuck in here, because you can get stuck here, but you got to take it out there. So with that being said, when I'm looking at these swings, so I'm going to have Zach go from swing to swing. We're just going to look at club path and face to path. Zach, any chance you can zoom in on club path and face to path on the camera?
Or have less metrics up there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. There we go. I forgot. See, look at all the things we can do. You use the young guys around you I say that I'm 37. So we've got club path, -1, face to path, 0.1. Go to the next swing. Club path, 2.5, face to path, -0.4. So, okay. Not bad. Got the club face negative. And next. Club path, -1.4, face to path, 3.8. -3, 2.5. -1, 1.8. So, okay, now these are kind of starting to be about the same. And then 0.4, -2.9. Okay, now we're back on the other side. Now we're to the left. Now we're to the right again. Negative. Now it got really bad. We're -4 and 5.3. Okay, now these are aligned, -0.4, -0.4. 0.2 and 3.0. All right, so I'll tell you this. I don't know exactly what y'all are working on in this moment during this part, but you're not on the right thing.
Yeah.
And the reason why we know we're not on the right thing, did it fix the path on some swings? Yeah.
Sure. On some,
did it fix the face on some swings?
Sure.
Yeah. But it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And that's what Zach and I were talking about as well, because Zach was like, you know, we were just chatting, having a dialogue, and he was like, well, you know, if you wanted to start playing a cut, like you can always work towards that draw, but knowing that it might cut. And then I told him, yeah, but now we're working on a two-way miss. And it's not as predictable. Right.
And so this is the athlete pushing back a little, trying to give us some information like, this probably isn't it. Let's try to find another way. So, and it's not that what you were given was wrong. It's just there's a better way, and there's something missing in the puzzle. We're probably on the wrong puzzle. Or
it's like when you get a puzzle piece that's like almost exactly the one you want, and you try and like make it fit, but it doesn't quite fit.
Yeah. No, you can't force that piece, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's in the wrong spot. It may even look good, and you find out later. We were actually doing a puzzle the other day with Rebecca, and they couldn't close this one port. Like, where's that edge piece? There's one edge piece missing. And I look more closely. I'm like, what if there's not an edge piece missing? What if in this little spot, one of these edge pieces is actually in the wrong place? And sure enough, it was. So we're trying to find something that isn't there.
But this is what a good instructor is trying to talk to themselves in their head, trying to figure out what to happen.
Right.
Or what to do with the golf swing, what to fix.
And so, you know, all right, so then we start trying to get the club head to go more inside in the takeaway. Do we have any of those up there, Zach?
It's probably going to be more towards like the 50s.
Yeah, we're probably... let's roll video behind us on one of those. Can you put a video up where I can see one up there, Zach?
The other thing, too, can we put...
just show me that one.
Put video in the...
Yeah, I'm okay if it's back here behind us, too. I see what you're saying. You're wanting to see up there. I still want to see the relationship between the numbers and the other. And okay, here we go.
Yeah, we can scoot it back as much as we need.
So teachers have preferences. And they have styles, and they have ways they like to do things. They have things they like to fix, things they like to leave alone. And I don't know what y'all are doing, but yay, almost. So yeah, this is fun. You get to take a look at Jack's backside as he gets this thing teed up. So
We'll
in that top screen, what we're really looking for here is like what is contributing to this negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive, positive, right? Like it's just back and forth, 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 back and forth. And so there's people trying to fix stuff and they'll like find something for a little minute, then it goes away, right? It's like, man, that's because you weren't on it. You're on the wrong thing. Great. And so we're spending all this time working to get the takeaway. Stop him right there. So this is way better than where we were. So we were at, the club head was way outside his hands. Can you go back and grab one of those real fast? Go to like 35, 31. See how fast you can operate this thing, Zach.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there's a club head between your hands and the target line.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to in, what was it, 51? Was the hands are on. And so this is something we found. Okay, so that's closer, but not quite. I think it was 50. Go back to 50.
Might have been this one right here, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Right. So that's looking pretty good. The ball gets hit pretty good. -1, -0.3 face to pass. So that should be a ball that curves slightly left. And yeah, it does. 1 foot left.
And just the feel as a student is that feels like a hook to me.
Right. Well, and this takeaway feels terrible to you.
100%.
So,
And that's like another thing too is I'm not gonna boost my tires here, but like there's a level of humility that you have to come with when you come and take a lesson on all of this data with a good coach, right? Because you can't just say that this data is wrong when it quite literally has no other way of being right. Like
right.
You have to come in here knowing that like, hey, this might suck. I might be trying some feels that I don't enjoy. I'm not going to hit the ball well to start when I'm making this new motion, but you just have to trust.
So I don't like how
let the data do it.
Right, and I don't like how vertical that face is.
Yeah.
You have the ability to square it up, but you haven't been able to square it up. So like, even I'm thinking like, all right, we got Jack and Zach, man, it's just making my life difficult over here. So, but as he takes that club back, the club face is fairly vertical, which is going to require a pretty heavy release coming through. As a general rule, I believe the path follows the face. So if the face is open, the path is going to go left. Or out to in. If you're a left-handed player, you'd go the opposite direction. But you're going to try and the brain's going to try and start the ball far enough away from wherever the face is pointed. So if the face is pointed right, the brain's going to try and start the ball left to make it go right, and vice versa.
Like a pull cut kind of deal, yeah.
So if the face is biased closed, the brain's going to try and push or bias left, then the brain's going to try and push the path to the right. So that's where you get into some difficulty. So, all right, this looks good. So we take him to the top of the backswing, and we'll see where he's at here. Maybe we take him to there we go. That position looks really good.
Yeah, I've been working really hard on that. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, it looks wonderful. But in this situation, it worked. So bring him down. Come back to where the club's shooting through the bicep. I still don't like where that is for you. I still think that's up too high. When you've hit it your best, you're just a little bit lower down on the plane than that.
I would agree.
And I don't like how the face is in some ways trying to open here. Now, on the left view up there, up at the top, so bring him on down. This is where I'm sitting here, and I spend a lot of time, back to my preferences thing, I spend a lot of time in a lot of lessons after impact and in the finish. I really fundamentally believe if you fix a finish position, the brain's going to figure out how to get there.
And that's what we figured out when we were doing our last couple swings here, and just as from a player's point of view, how that feels when you show me how that should feel on the finish. Like you said, the brain's like, okay, well, if we need to get there at the finish, then we have to do something different in the back.
Right. So take him to the next swing. Let's watch the numbers. So this is when we were really fixing that takeaway, and it was coming down between your arms. Like, that was great. But look at the club path on the next swing. It got even worse.
Yeah.
That's you trying to fix it. Now,
Exactly.
obviously, the path went out again. Go to the next one. Go to 54.
And it got better.
Right, then it got better, but now the face is open. All right, so we're in there, and the brain's resisting. That's a wonderful backswing there.
Yeah, take that one more time, Zach, because that one actually, the club face is slightly closed.
Right, so now we're starting to work the face a little closed. Like, all right, let's see if we can get that. But your brain's resisting the feeling of it being closed. And so at some point, you have to listen to the player, assuming their athleticism's high enough. And their confidence levels are high enough. Typically, people will I don't want to do that, and their confidence levels are low.
Not? Yeah, what if they're not for you?
Those are the difficult students to deal with. Some of you know who you are if you're listening. Maybe you don't, and you should.
Clip that.
Sorry, was that mean?
Clip that.
Or just honest. You can't handle the truth. So it's a lot of times. So you're projecting, I don't really like the feel of that from a position of confidence, not from a position of projecting your lack of confidence onto me by going, I don't want to do that.
That's right. And that's a very interesting dichotomy.
Incredibly different thing.
Yes.
So I don't want to do that. Talking with one of my, a tour player I've spent some time with recently and in the past, and just dialoguing about, his time and thinking about various things. And he's going, I don't really like doing that. Like that's not it. That's not it. That's not a defiance. I don't want to do what you tell me to do. It's the athlete knowing something about themselves. Like, no, that's not it. I don't know what it is. That's not it. Scott, this backswing in here just feels wrong. But you didn't say it in the sense of like, yeah, I understand it just feels wrong. You're going to try it anyway because you're not afraid to try something different. But there was this idea of this resistance I'm sitting here going, there's an easier way. Like, I know there's an easier way. I want to fix that thing in the backswing. I don't like how open the club face looks to me, but my preference is for it to not be that vertical. But you've played great golf with it that vertical before, and with the club outside the hands.
That's right. Yep.
But we also know a little in, you've hit it better too. But this isn't just, it's just not working. And so I'm going,
and this is the first time you've really had a problem, or not a problem, but like a tough thing that we've had to overcome together.
Yeah, and especially with how good your swing got, right? And I think us trying to do this, like when I had you doing this big slide back on the back tee, like that got the face more square for you. But I think that's probably ran too far, and it kind of matched that baseball side of you that holds the face.
And it's gotten that forward lean as well.
Right, because you were overturning it to the left a little bit then. And so, Zach, if you'll go back to, I think it's 50 or 51, 52. Yeah, there. One of those. And take him just post-impact. So, again, look at that beautiful backswing.
Wow. I normally don't like the look of my swing at impact.
That looks a lot better.
That looks a lot better than what I'm used to.
Right. But the thing is, it looks better, but is it sustainable?
And that's the question.
That is the thing that matters. Like, it looks so much better, but does it go out there to the golf course? And the tour player's talking about, he's like, I don't want to do it on the driving range. Like, I could sit here and bang balls on the driving range for 12, 18 more months. I need it to go out there. I need to be able to take it out there. Like, yeah, it might take me a second to trust it or refine it, but like, I should be able to find it out there. If I have to find it out here for days and weeks and months on end, it's not the right thing. And this is why I don't like all the swing changes. I don't like the Jordan Spieth swing change. I don't like the Justin Thomas.
What about Victor Hovland recently?
I don't like Victor. Now, Victor Hovland will pursue and try different things, and I got into some bad habits, and he's talking about going back to his roots. I'm like, why do you guys leave? And it's part of the nature of being a high performer. They'll try new things to their own detriment. And I think there's so many opinions in the golf space, especially with how nuanced the golf swing is. It's like at some point you got to start listening to the athlete. Except you got to recognize, are they asking the question out of a position of lack of confidence, or are they asking out of a position of strength? And it's, I think these pursuits for more distance, like there are various places that it really burns players. For every player that, scores lower by pursuing 10 more yards of distance on the tour, there's a player that plays worse by doing so. And that's the story that doesn't get told. And it's what is right for me. So what I started to recognize, all right, so if this backswing piece is a no-go, let's go to where my preference is. And we haven't spent a lot of time on we did. This has been a while, but it's
been a long time
since we spent a lot of time on the forward side. Mm-hmm. And what I found over here was there's a resistance out of something that's actually a little scary for you because it feels like you're losing control by doing what I asked you to do.
Yes.
But in so doing, you finally actually started fixing everything. So,
and let me ask you a question, just as the student here, because I feel like when I'm playing my best golf, I do hit a draw and I can control it, but I found myself over time when I worked more and more towards that draw, I ended up having more of that hold off motion to kind of keep it from going more and more hook. Yeah. And so that has now turned into this open face cut hold that I've been turning into.
Right. And so you probably just chased that a little too far.
Yeah.
So Zach, if you'll take us, if you got a second there, yeah. Zach's trying to do work at the same time. Take us all the way up to, take him through. Keep going. Keep going.
There's that hold off hands.
I don't like that. Now, typically when you see that, the arms are at full extension, that's great. Left elbow's kind of holding a little bit. That's the baseball in you touch there.
Yep.
And you're trying to turn the face over, which is great, but it's how that's being done, that doesn't look right to me. Especially right there. Oh, come back.
Doesn't look right to me either, for the record.
Keep coming back. Okay, right there. Once I saw that, and it's not the left elbow. Everybody's going to talk about your left elbow winging up there at the top. That ain't the thing. Don't try to fix the chicken wing.
And I know it's the.
It's not a chicken wing. It's Jack's left arm. It's not a chicken wing. Chicken wing. All right. So draw a line down the shaft from face on Zach. See, Zach knows he's getting to know me. He knows which side I'm asking without even asking. That's dead in line with your left forearm or your right forearm. So I'm sitting there looking at that going, wait a second. This is why Jack's not turning the club face over, even though he's been trying like crazy to get that puppy to turn over. So, all right. Now, hey, Jack, I need you to rehinge it on the other side. Now, this is where cue Mac O'Grady. You need to pull up some of this stuff in order to do this piece. So the wrist, everything gets fully extended, but it should also rehinge, right? So no difference than if I bounce a ball, right? So if I bounce a basketball, I'm going to bounce it. The wrist is going to release. And then when it comes back up, the wrist goes back this way.
Totally.
Right?
That's
so
a
it
great
does,
analogy.
it does this.
Yeah.
It would be like you shooting a basketball like this. Right? No,
Totally.
the wrist has to release.
Yeah.
And so that's what was getting stuck. And so that's essentially what we have there. I'm like, hey, Jack, I need you to let the club rehinge on the other side. Can we find one of those rehingy things?
Do you think that that's because I feel so heavily in that right hand?
Or actually, can you find the one where I swing it? I think it's like a 111 carry or something.
But
Keep coming back.
Do you think that's because I have that? I feel so much of that in the hand.
Nope. Come back one more. What's like two more back? There it is. Too much in the hand meaning what?
Just that's where all of my feeling is. So it feels like I'm trying to flip it over, but it doesn't actually. Yeah, see, there's that release.
Right. So now you've got, this is an exaggerated drill to show you.
Yep.
But you'll notice that now there's a 90-degree angle between the golf club and my arm.
Look at that club path, too.
Right. And the club path is way to the right, and the club face is super closed.
Yep.
Right. So we're looking for that out of Jack's motion. So he does one really well early on in that bunch. So try that one that's a 111 or 134.
I think it's the 134 one, Zach. I'm positive. Because I remember I was like, I hit it further than you doing that.
So we made kind of a full backswing. Nope.
Nah,
So
not
it's
quite.
better.
It is better, though, but it's not quite it.
I think it's the 111.
It might be. Oh, we're only on the 60s here, Zach. Yeah. Yeah. we
Nope,
need to go
that's
like
not
a-
it. Go back to the 111.
It's going to be 111 for sure. Oh, Zach, number
Here we
111
go.
shot here. Oh,
So,
you're talking
yeah,
about
this is a
distance
little
here, yeah.
chippy, you trying to feel it.
Yeah, there's the hinge
There it is.
right there.
So that's the piece you're missing, and your phrase was, I'll let you tell me what that swing felt like to you.
You want me to do that?
Yeah, I want you to tell us what that swing felt like, or what the like concern was. Like, what's the resistance to that?
The resistance is
Because there's a belief that you're holding on to
yeah.
that you need to let go of.
The
That's
belief-
keeping us from getting to where we've been trying to get to.
Totally. The belief is that the feel is in my hands. And that if I can control where my fingers sit at impact or where I'm getting a good outcome from that, that must be true. That I can feel it in my fingers, and so that's turned into this. Let's get these fingers
Holding
the face almost like right at
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah.
But when I'm not hitting it well, can't feel where the hand is, and then I think it just turns into these over the top cut things.
Right. So at this point, that gets the club face closed. So let's go swing to swing. Let's just look at path face numbers. So
That was hard for me to articulate that.
yeah, I think because it is hard to articulate feel. Where face is closed again. Now look at the path. Path went to the right.
Yeah.
We're not even working on the path.
Yeah.
We're not working about the takeaway. We're not working about the backswing. We're working full on follow through side. So negative 2.1. Go to the next one. Negative 3.1. And the path is working to the right. It didn't quite get it on that one. It didn't quite. So we're starting to lose it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And this is
And it still lost it a little bit. Now we're getting closer. Didn't have face to path there. Now we're going back to chippy swings, right? This is great. So face went negative, path went to the right. Face went negative, that was a bad path. Face went negative, path got better. Face 0, path stayed the same. Up, face back open. Face back open. Right? So there at the end is like, as you tried to go back to the full golf swing, you started letting go of that. So,
and you can also see it's shot 75 as well. So just what we talk about.
a lot of golf balls.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about like how you play under pressure as well. You're going to default back to whatever you've been working on
Correct.
or whatever your swing has been.
So the difference was once you got that rehinging over here on this other side, that feels out of control
Very much.
because of how much movement is in the wrist. Well, I can't flick the wrist. I got to hold it. It's like, no, you don't have to hold it. We can let go of you have to lag it. I got to lag it. I got to hit down on it. You ain't got to do any of that. I got to compress it. What does compression mean? Like, the ball's not getting pinched against the ground. The ball's riding up the face. So, like, sorry, it's getting pinched against the face, not as much against the earth as you think it is, because the face has loft. So when you strike a ball that's on the ground, it moves up the face. It doesn't move into the ground.
Thus creating spin. So.
Right. You'd have to have a flat hammer coming down like this for the ball to be compressed into the ground.
Yeah.
You're just feeling the contact of the club. So you do not have to lag it. You do not have to compress it. You don't have to hold it. In fact, most people do a much better job of letting it go. And so we had found you just gotten too far with this like crazy hold off thing that you never let the wrist do what it's designed to do. The wrists are designed to hinge the club like this. And so many people are trying to do this. That right there is the last 15 years of golf instruction trying to teach people how to lag. It's what most of the golf training aids are. Now there's pressure is one. So you're seeing these like plates where you do this. That's a current modern version. Again, you can do it however you want. But this, everybody's trying to do this. Tom Purtzer back in the 90s was known as the best golf swing on the PGA Tour. The prettiest golf swing on the PGA Tour, Tom Purtzer. Wonderful player. Tom Purtzer didn't lag it a lick. Okay? So you do not have to lag the golf club. In fact, most people aren't capable of doing so, not without an insane amount of work and effort. So the point was, like, by having the tech like this, as we're like this whole dialogue, right? You're borrowing my brain to use the podcast a couple podcasts ago. Is the truth is like I'm trying to turn. Well, Scott, I don't really want to do it that way. Well, that way is what is working. Like we'll take it in this way. Well, that's kind of working, but it's sporadic. Okay, well then we need to do it on this side, and boom, close. We spent in the last 2 weeks trying to do, and you couldn't do it. It's like, well, the truth is, what we're doing ain't working.
And like, I don't want to badmouth any instructors here, but like, how many instructors do you think are going to try and fix my backswing, try and fix impact, try and keep on doing that? I was trying to
fix it.
Well, and I know you were, but like, I don't know how many people would have the humility to be able to be like, all right, clearly this isn't working. Let's go to the like something we can control.
So that's the challenge,
and like that's probably the experience too that comes into play.
Is not being afraid to go, hey, this isn't how we're going to do it. I got to go a different route. Just is. And the inability for you to create some stability out of that movement in the takeaway and the trying to keep the head more center was just telling us we weren't getting on it. Now, Zach's not going to run the video here, but when you look at those ones that are really close and the path is to the right, you actually see the shaft get down closer to your right form on the way down. And that to me was like the cue of we're not even working on the downswing coming down better. It just is. Like it is simply just now all of a sudden responding to that. So my preference as an instructor is to do a lot of post-impact, like post-waist high, like finish stuff. Because the finish often forces the body to get into a certain place. We talked about the chess match. Forces the brain to go, well, how am I going to get there? And so I'll get that question. So, well, how do I get there? Just get there. Let's just start from the ball and go forward. You got there, didn't you? Yeah. Well, how do I get there from a backswing? Just get there. Just chase that piece. And sometimes you try to chase the how so much you forget how to do, right? Like if I just put my hand out, we do a fist bump here, right? Come on, yeah. And I move it over here. How'd you do that? Like,
just did
you just did, right? You didn't think about how to do it. The golf swing is very similar. And like, how am I supposed to feel it? Dude, I ain't got a flying flip of a clue. But we've had a lot of CTC classes the last 2 days in here. So you've got 3 or 4 people in here at a time.
Cracking the code for anybody who doesn't know. Cracking the code.
That's our winter program. And we had 3 guys, was it this morning, that were all over the top. Over the top. I hate that phrase.
I know, like, air quote.
Path moving leftward, downswing plane, more vertical than backswing plane. But the thing was, fixing it for all of them required 3 totally different movements, not even in the same ballpark. If you didn't know what we were trying to fix and you just heard what the fix was and you saw the fix, you wouldn't have any clue that we were trying to fix the same club outcome 3 totally different ways. And we can get into, and I can get in and prove, all right, we're going to do this because if you change that, that changes this, which changes this, and this in that order. And so it's, we got asked by a dad watching his son take a lesson this afternoon. Wonderful player as a freshman. Shout out to Sully. But dad asked, like, so what are some drills? What does he need to do to like work on keeping that right foot the way you want it? I said, well, first off, order matters. Notice that was the last thing I gave him to work on. I said, if we fix that first, then we lose this, this, and this. And he's going to hit it worse, which is unmotivating, and he's not going to change it. 2, if we change this one, but we don't change this one, then changing that produces this. And you can prove it with, go ahead and do it, right? So the proof is on the back end, and you can work through those pieces. So it's getting people to understand that, like, your way through, chances of you finding it on YouTube or from your buddies, sorry, probably ain't going to cut it.
There it is right there.
They just don't have. Now, can you get lucky? Do people get lucky? Yeah.
Sure.
Is it wrong to try something that might help you? No. You might fall into something, but you might get a piece of it. But the danger of getting a piece of it is, what if you get the wrong piece of it? And if you try to fix, If Rich tried to fix his over the top the way Steven did, we'd be toast, and vice versa. So, what? I don't know what Zach's wanting to give to me. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, we got Chris, Steven, Rich, and Mark. Chris was the only one that wasn't. Okay. So, give that back. So I have on our lesson note sheets here fault and fixes. Zach, you may be able to. I can probably show these to you. So we have fault and fixes. I have 3 lesson note sheets, but you have fault, fix, drill rehearsal, ball flight connection. If this, then that. If I do this, then this happens.
Yep.
So we look at Steven. So shout out Steven Cherry. Woo! I didn't even know he was going to be on this podcast. All right. So fault, body line straightening through the swing, and particularly the forward movement. I called it a static movement because it was just like straight vertical. Like the body just kind of stood straight up in a certain manner. It wasn't dynamic. Like it wasn't squatted with the shoulders closed, the hips turning open, and the shaft light. Like it wasn't as dynamic for his level of play that he needed. So he had an impact fix rehearsal, which I don't have time to get into, and then a setup adjustment with the hands in front of his shoulders. That fixed Steven's over the top or path to the left.
And then the next one.
Next, Rich. So Rich is 70-something, Zach? Yeah, I think Rich is 70. So Steven is my age.
Yep.
So got a guy that's twice his age. Tons of club head speed. Fault. Posture moves towards the golf ball in the downswing. So he goes this way with his chest, which stands the shaft up. And then back up, causing a lack of control of the face at the bottom and the strike. So it starts this way, which moves the path left, and then the brain tries to save it, which can make the path, if it stays that way, the path and the face will go left.
Yeah, that's a weird.
Right? And if he tries to save it, then the path and the face go right.
Yeah.
So you see, and the strike is inconsistent.
Last one.
So we put a pause at the top of his backswing so he could feel that transition piece and just kind of train transition.
Make sure he doesn't squat down on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Then Mark was a super late shot of the golf club. Now, if you look at his video, like he's so over the top, but the path is to the right. How's that?
Whoa.
So similar to Sam. And so, but he didn't have control of the face. It was doing this. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. But the path was right every time. So his was a sequence error. To the top, the elbow stayed bent too long while his body rotated, and then the arm dropped. So we had to get the arm to drop and down and unfold and then rotate through. So you've got 3 guys with the same fundamental pattern problem in terms of the golf club, 3 totally different ways of doing it, and they're all at a different performance level too. And so the fix, and it's proved in the numbers, and the repeatability in those numbers was entirely different. None of them, the chances that they get that on YouTube or from their buddies is next to 0.
Yeah, what I was going to say is it's like the more vague or the more cliche the fix is, or the more cliche the problem is, the more vague the fix is going to be. You know, like the things I think about is over the top, slice, I hook. It's just like, well,
I top it. I pick my head up. Like,
it's like, what do you mean by that?
Right.
Exactly.
Over the top of what? Like,
yeah, like slice.
I'm
like,
not
how do
compressing
you
it. Well, what is compression? What do you mean by compressing?
Right.
I feel stuck. Stuck where? Like stuck with a bad golf swing? Maybe. Like, what does stuck feel like? And so, it's just totally different for the player. So, I think that's the problem with being in here is it's going to show you that you're wrong a lot.
Yeah.
But
that's a good thing if you have the right mentality.
Right. If you come
it.
into it, you're willing to learn. Like, 140 yards just isn't very good for my 9-iron. It's like, I should hit 140. I had a guy today. I should hit 140. I'm only hitting 124. I'm like, that's probably because you only hit it 124. Okay? Like, you got to be okay with that. So if you're going to step into a place like this, you're going to learn and you're going to get better. Mm-hmm. If you come into it with the mindset of, I am willing to learn and I am willing to be wrong.
Yeah.
And that includes us as teachers. Like, we were on trying to fix something there. And I'm like, that just ain't cutting it. And the numbers are telling us it's not cutting it because it should be repeatable faster than 10, 15, 20 swings, which it should be able to. As soon as we got that hinge, it was close.
Yep.
Right? Like, oh, okay, we're on it now. We're at least in the ballpark.
For sure.
So I think that's the fun in here. That's the challenge in here. And the answer is both far simpler than you think it is and infinitely more complex than you think it is.
I love that, man. Yeah, I mean, I love when you get to hear somebody talk about like the TrackMan's wrong, and like
it's just not.
There's two funny stories over the last like 3 days. Is like when we were first getting this whole thing set up, I was hitting in that other bay, and I'm like, I hit my 8-iron further than like 155, guys. Like, what's going on here? And then then you go, look what club you're hitting, dude. I thought I was hitting an 8-iron. I was hitting my 9-iron. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes total sense.
Right.
And then I come in here the other day, and Elijah's teaching his lesson, and the dude's like these numbers just like are not right. And Elijah's like, bub, I can tell you, they're right. Like,
sorry, man. They are. Let me show you.
But like, and this is where I'll in my final thought here is just like that is so normal. Like, I don't want people to like feel ashamed of the fact that like that's a very normal feeling to feel when you see these numbers on the screen. Right. You do get humbled. But guess what? That establishes a baseline for now you improving over time. Right. That's why you can log into TrackMan over here. You can log all your practice sessions. You can keep up with your numbers over time, because if you know what you're looking for, and that's going to be the benefit of people getting in here on their own later, is when they're students of FBPI, they're coached by one of our coaches here. They know what number to look at. This is not just hit around fun time on the sim kind of deal.
We're going to have that kind of stuff, but like if you come in here and you want to run out the space to use the cameras and use the TrackMan to train, like we're going to put your lesson note sheets out if you don't have them with you. We're going to put them out on your station. Yeah. And the person that's running the place, while we will have somebody here, their job is to put the lines up on the screen that you're supposed to work on and put the data components up on the screen that you're supposed to work on. Nothing more, nothing less. Your job is to stay the course, and we are going to make sure that you do. If you're going to be here, you're not on your own, because guess what? You're going to do what humans do when they're on their own, and you're going to wander. And when you wander, it makes all of our jobs harder to get you back. So we're going to put you in here. This is the place to train. You're not going to train like we do here. Even if you find other places that have this stuff, not going to do it the way we do. We're not just going to leave you to yourself, because guess what? People need structure, accountability, and reinforcement. And there's no better place to do it than here at the Franklin Bridge Performance Institute and the No Mulligans podcast.
I love it. Yeah, to end us off here, speaking of this big podcast that we just did, we're going to be bringing to you guys a fun video series in the spring called Biggest Loser.
Come and join it. So I'm going to do it with just my students. I'm not going to put the pressure on anybody else to do it. But we're going to see who can drop the most number of shots by the end of the year. I don't know what to give them. I'm going to come up with some big prize for the winner. It'll be significant. Like maybe it's a free set of clubs.
Or like, putter, or something like that, yeah.
I want it to be big. Like if you want in this, like top to bottom, $3,000 set of clubs done. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll be that big, but we'll do something big and significant. Maybe it's something where we all go to Pinehurst and we pay for their rounds or something like that. So
that'll be fun. And we've got cameraman Sam as well. So
Sam.
Thanks Sam for editing this video. But I mean, we'll have the manpower in order to make a super fun series. We've got the house to do it now. We've got the tech to do it. So it's going to be super fun. I guess last thing I have here is just follow us on all of our socials. I mean, we're doing a lot of work right now on TikTok, although by the time you're listening to this, maybe TikTok's shut down. We'll see. But yeah, you can follow us over there at No Mulligans Pod. And then, of course, on YouTube, which is where we're doing all of our stuff. You can just Google the No Mulligans Podcast in there. And we really appreciate you guys checking this one out. And if you guys are listening on audio and you've made it this far, we really appreciate it, but make sure that you go and watch some of this on YouTube so that you can actually look at the actual data statistics and the video that's going out here too. And you get a pre-look at the Learning Center before we have our grand opening. Yep. Which is really cool.
Tentatively planned for March the 2nd.
I love it.
So
I love it. Well, thank you guys for listening to this podcast here. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram at SIC Golf and at No Mulligans Pod. Thanks guys so much for watching this one, and we'll see you on the next one. It's Jack and Scott from the Learning Center. See you on the next one. Peace.